Hello and welcome to How Not to Die. In this video I'll be showing you all the best practices to do as a GTP car in the upcoming iRacing Daytona 24, which will hopefully give you and your team the best chances of survival through traffic. I also have a GT3 version of this, so click the link at the top right if you want to see that version if you're driving GT3. But yeah, let's get started. This is mainly just to highlight the best way to pass a GT that you are stuck behind. Focus on getting your exit. It's probably quite obvious, you probably already know this one, but I just wanted to start with the actual basics, you know. I'm not taking my normal line where I track out wide on the exit of the hairpin. I am deliberately focusing from the start of the corner on a tighter exit, because I know that Ferrari is going to be there on the outside regardless of what else I do. I do a bit of a dive into this hairpin. Pretty tentative here, actually. I wasn't sure if the GT3 was going to sort of cut me off or not, but I sort of just lightly brake and get myself alongside. Like when you're sort of diving another car, I mean, you shouldn't dive from a mile back anyway, obviously, but all you need to really do is get yourself alongside. Don't worry about sending it in at high speed, just get alongside, because once you're alongside, well, you know, they can't turn in on you, right? Similar one here as well. I just sort of get myself alongside and not sending it, not massively late heavy braking and ending up locking up and taking someone out. I'm just getting myself alongside and it's enough. It can be tempting to follow another GTP through on another car, but just be wary that they might cut across you. Like, I'm not that close to the GTP ahead. There is probably enough space for this Porsche to slot in, and you can see it. They think about turning in, and then they realize I'm there and think, nope. But I definitely wasn't sending it, you know what I mean? So I am making sure that if they do cut across, I'm able to slot in behind them without touching them, you know. They do end up giving me the room because they're probably thinking I might send it. Make sure your moves, even if you're thinking about it but not sure, make sure you're able to back out. I feel like if they had turned in on me, I would have made it. You know, I would have been able to slow down enough and it would have been fine. Be wary that they're not necessarily going to give you the room. On the oval, typically GT3s will stay tight to the left. It gets a bit confusing at the straightaway here because they will move across, and you see this car does, and then we have to go to the other side. So be prepared for that. And again, with being on the inside, it's a bit scary going on the inside into the bus stop. If you're really far back when you do it, it's too late. I'm alongside way before I'm braking here, which is why I do this. As long as I'm alongside on the entry, I can brake earlier than normal, make the corner, and not really impede the GT3, because I'm probably still gone through the corner by the time they're turning in, right, because I have more downforce. If I'm any further back, though, I probably wouldn't risk it. Diving into the bus stop is ridiculous from miles back. Turn one, I sort of catch this car sort of as we're arriving at the turn-in, and then I take a really tight line and I just punch out of the corner way better. Make sure you stay kind of tight to the left. I clear him quite early here, but depending on exactly how far you are, you might be going side by side through more of this sort of little S's section you got where the pit exit is. Make sure you're staying to the left and giving plenty of room. Here's an example of someone I'm nowhere near anyway. I do look like I'm going to go for it, but again, I wasn't sending it to the point that I couldn't back out. Because as you can see, the Audi very much, I think they really didn't want me to, they turn in very early. They really didn't want me to do that. Understandably so. I wasn't so committed before they cut me off that I hit them. Here's a later example of the turn one exit. As you can see, we're side by side further into that little S's. But again, I give space. I track out a bit wide afterwards, but I'm already clear at that point. The kink can be a source of miscommunication. So I like to indicate my intentions early. As you can see, I'm not like I'm never all the way to the right hand side of the track in this Porsche's slipstream. I am driving in the middle of the road, signifying that yes, I am going to go and make the move before the kink on the inside. Here's a later one. I think I might, no, I do lift here. Just I like to lift when I go around the outside, because I'm not sure if the GT is going to track out all the way to the right hand side of the track. Maybe in hotter conditions they will, because there's less grip and they're more on the limit. I haven't driven the GT3 as much here in the hot conditions, to be honest. So I like to lift in case I see them tracking out. Certainly in this race they were keeping it pretty tight to the left, so yeah, I catch them as they turn in, so I can just sort of sail around the outside and give myself the inside for the next right-hander. Here I do manage to follow through on this Mercedes, but I'm very close. I do stay very, very close to the GTP ahead, which makes it a lot easier because obviously they can't slot in. Here's another one in the kink. I'm a bit unsure, as you can see from my lines, because I'm not sure if the BMW is going to move to the right and therefore have to go to the inside. I'm not sure I'd go for the inside. It's quite late to go for the inside anyway. But the BMW stays left, assuming I'm going to follow through, and I think that works out pretty well for both of us, honestly. Here's another kink scenario that's pretty similar. The Porsche does move slightly to the right, and I'm thinking, oh, should I go left? Again, it's very late. I should not go actually left, because I would have to back out. They don't go all the way. They sort of stay, then they give me some space on the right, and then, okay, yep, I'll go around the outside then, and it works out okay. Again, you can sort of tell from, if you pay attention to what the GT is doing, you know either where they want you to go or where they expect you to go. And it's similar in this case. They were ready for an outside move, and that's what they got. This isn't really an incident, but it's something you should always consider, and maybe have the relatives up on the screen for this, because I've seen it many times. A lot of accidents in multiclass, it's people not looking more than one car ahead of them. So I've got this GTP ahead, you know, maybe I'm battling for the position, you know, I want to get a good run through the bus stop, but there's a GT3 there. And it seems obvious saying it now, but the amount of times I've seen someone behind, like I would be in this position, sailing in and then rear-ending the GTP because the GTP has slowed down, but the GTP has to because there's a GT3 ahead. So especially bus stop is the biggest one for this, but it goes everywhere, any track. But keep an eye out ahead of you and expect things like this. So I know that the GTP is going to slow down, and I know I can't gain anything here, right? I'm not going to make a move here. I just want to get a good exit and follow them through and lose time, but I have to. There's GT3 there, so what's going to happen? This is a bit of a confusing scenario onto the banking. Not helped by the fact that we are two GTPs. It just makes everything a bit more stressful. The GTP ahead looks to the inside and gets it, but the Ferrari ahead of the Audi doesn't want to give it to them. They're trying to come down low. They end up giving the room because the Porsche GTP kind of forces their way through. Yeah, it's a difficult scenario. If I were the Porsche, I'd probably back out a bit more. There is enough room between the GTs to then duck to the outside of the Ferrari, which maybe I would have done. But it's difficult. I think I'd probably lift off, and I think the Porsche probably does lift off a bit because they lose ground to me. But if you're confused by you've got one GT going high, one GT going low, don't be afraid to lift off, slow down, rather than forcing the issue, because if the GT doesn't give you the space a little bit like this Ferrari ends up doing, then, well, you've probably crashed into them by then. So it's something to watch out for. Exiting the second hairpin on the infield. This is one where I would normally go outside, as I do in this clip, but you see this Mercedes is sort of unsure where I want to go, but I stick to the left and I go for it, and they see that and they go right. Obviously be prepared to sort of lift off if they don't do that, but what I would say is if you see a GT that's sort of maybe not so sure where you're going to go, don't then try and change directions based on where they are thinking you might go, because they are not sure. Stick to your line. Be prepared to lift off if they actually end up on that line and in your way. But I stick to the left, and I don't have to lift here. They go to the right because they see it, and it's all good. Another kink scenario. I see the GT here being pushed wide. And so I see that they are wide and they're having to sort of lift a bit, so I sail through on the inside. If there was more gap between the GTPs, maybe the GT3 would cut closer to the apex. It's something to be wary that maybe they haven't seen you, maybe they're going to cut down, so yeah, be prepared for that if that happens. But in general, I was close enough there that I feel like I'm pretty safe to follow through and nothing will really happen. Alright, thank you for watching. I also have a GT3 version of this video if you want to see that, either if you're driving one of those instead, or if you want to see the other side of the coin to the GTPs. That is appearing on your screen right now. But yeah, hope this has helped in some way. Give some comments below if you have any differing opinions or other tips or anything else. And yeah, I hope everyone has a good Daytona 24. Catch you next time.